the Florida mosque that the Pulse nightclub shooter regularly attended before he killed 49 people and wounded dozens more. It caught fire early Monday morning, and officials believe an arsonist is to blame.
Fire at any place of worship is always a tragedy.
According to Newsy's partners at WPTV, the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office was called to the Islamic Center of Fort Pierce around 12:30 a.m. local time. Emergency responders were able to put out the blaze, but not before it caused significant damage to the back of the mosque. Police say no one was inside at the time. Many of the details surrounding the incident are still unclear, but the Sheriff's Department says they're considering all possible motives. Local media outlets were quick to point out the fire coincided with the 15th anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks and the beginning of the Muslim holiday of Eid al-Adha. But mosque leaders say they started receiving threats not long after the Pulse nightclub massacre in June. Authorities say they have surveillance video from the mosque that they will release to the public in an effort to identify the arsonist. For Newsy, I'm Catherine Beek.
To other news tonight, into Florida, where investigators say a fire at a mosque was in fact arson and may be a hate crime. The mosque was once attended by the man who killed 49 people at that Pulse nightclub in June. And tonight here, we are now seeing the surveillance video from next door. Shows a flicker, a bright light, that a suspect running through a yard and out a gate. As ABC's Gio Benitez reports tonight, authorities now want your help.
The 911 calls come in. It's just after midnight.
Oh, there goes the... Okay, don't go anywhere near it, okay?
Flames are just going up like crazy.
Firefighters battle the flames for almost 5 hours. The Islamic Center of Fort Pierce, Florida was badly damaged. It's the same one attended by Omar Mateen, the man responsible for the June rampage at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando that killed 49 people. Surveillance cameras first picking up a man arriving on a motorcycle. Minutes later, he's running from the scene. Flames from the inferno lighting up the night.
While the male was leaving, the male was shaking his hand. It is possible that the male sustained burns on that hand.
Mateen's father attends services here too. Supporters say its worshipers have been harassed since the massacre. The fire gutting the mosque on the 15th anniversary of 9/11 and at the start of one of Islam's holiest holidays, Eid al-Adha.
Imagine waking up in the morning, wanting to go to your church on Christmas Day, only to find it burnt.
And David, tonight federal authorities tell ABC News they are investigating this as a hate crime. David.
Gio Benitez with us tonight. Gio, thank you.
This is AP News Minute. Hillary Clinton is taking time off the campaign trail to recover from pneumonia. Media camped outside her home in Chappaqua, New York, waiting for any updates. Her campaign says she will release further medical records after she abruptly left a 9/11 anniversary ceremony on Sunday. Actor George Clooney is using his celebrity power to shed light on South Sudan's civil war. He unveiled a report by a human rights group he co-founded. The investigation alleges the country's warring parties are exploiting ethnic divisions for their own financial gain. Syrian families are doing their best to enjoy the Muslim holiday of Eid al-Adha. Some spending the day in an amusement park in Damascus. Syria's army says it has begun implementing a week-long U.S.-Russian ceasefire. Carolina Herrera is celebrating 35 years in fashion. Showing at New York's Fashion Week, the designer chose to look back for inspiration to her first collection in 1981 and make it modern for today's woman. Padmananda Rama, The Associated Press, with AP News Minute.
And from Memphis this evening, a terrible toll from the city's deadliest house fire in nearly a century. 9 people, including 6 children, were lost, and 1 child is fighting to survive tonight. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami.
We possibly have other victims inside. Let's assist inside if you can.
Firefighters who raced to this small brick home around 1:30 this morning are grieving tonight. The family they came to rescue was trapped behind flames, and most of their windows were covered in security bars like this one that had to be removed.
We've located an additional victim for a total of 5. CPR is in progress.
But it was too late. 3 adults and 6 children lost their lives. 1 child is still hanging on in critical condition. We spoke with their grandfather, who says his heart hurts.
I love my grandchildren, my grandbabies. Now all my grandbabies are gone.
Authorities say the fire began in the living room, caused by a faulty power cord from an air conditioning unit. They did find a smoke detector and believe it was working.
Nothing in our training can truly prepare us for this heartbreaking event.
The children who died here were supposed to be off to school this morning. Tonight, the fire department is going door to door across this city, installing free smoke detectors. David?
Steve, thank you.
We're now joined by our correspondent, activist and political commentator Hussein Al-Bukhaiti, who's joining us from the Yemeni capital, Sana'a, to bring us up to speed on the recent Saudi attacks on Yemen on the occasion of Eid al-Adha. Mr. Al-Bukhaiti.
Now, this latest strike hit the homes in Sihar district. The number of killed has reached 7 and 11 injured, and there is a report that it was a double tap strike, that the Saudi strike first and then waited 10 to 15 minutes and then conducted another strike, killing some of the neighbors and civilians who went to rescue those people who were injured in the first strike. And I just remember that last year as well, the Saudis have killed in the same Eid an entire family of 9, I believe of 9, and with women and children. And what's really make me sad is to see the children wearing their Eid clothes. But there are millions of Yemenis who cannot afford these new clothes. That we have millions of Yemenis who live under poverty line, and we have this blockade, and there are hundreds of thousands of people are displaced, especially from Saada and Hajjah region. And it seems to be that what the Saudi are good at in Eid is either killing Yemeni civilians, including women and children in Yemen, or killing pilgrims like they did last year in Mecca. And we can't see any end of this struggle in Yemen. We can't see any help coming from outside, especially from the international community, because the Yemeni people has been let down by almost everyone, especially the UN and the UN convoy to Yemen, Wild al-Sheikh. We have over 6,000 Yemeni who are stranded outside in airports, especially in Jordan, in Cairo, and in other areas. Most of them are sick, who went outside to get the proper medical help. But still, Wild al-Sheikh, when he promised the Sana'a delegates in Muscat that they will open Sana'a airport after they meet him, he did the same like he does before. He refused after that to do anything to let those people coming back. They want to save their families. There are reports that about 10 to 9 people of these sick outside in airports have died. And many of them have been kicked out of hospital and as well kicked out of their homes because they were supposed to come back a month ago, and now they cannot even afford to feed themselves. And if the Saudi and so-called Hadi legitimacy, if they cannot protect 7,000 people outside Yemen who are stranded because of this Saudi airstrike, how do they want us to believe them that they will bring peace to Yemen? As we see in the south, every day there are many people are killed by terrorist attack, by gangs, and there is no security at all. But at least in area controlled by Ansarullah, the Houthi, and the Yemeni army, we have the minimum, which is security. Unlike them, in those liberated, so-called liberated area, they have nothing at all, and they are under the Saudi control.
And also, Mr. Al-Bukhaiti, explain for us and our viewers about the dire humanitarian catastrophe that's unfolding in Yemen in relation to the Saudi siege on the Arab country.
You can tell this from the number of the people who have died. As you mentioned, there are over 9,000 who are killed by Saudi direct airstrikes. And according to UNICEF, there are 10,000 children who died this year because of the lack of medicine and lack of food and nutrition. If we compare this before the Saudi aggression, those 10,000 kids were like kind of extra if you compare it with previous years. And this shows you the amount of this war and the damage it caused to the Yemenis and the damage it caused to the Yemeni infrastructure. We have this blockade over 500 days. Prices are skyrocketing, and fuel shortages, and on the top of that, when they stop now Sana'a airport, even the people who got some kind of money to get an attention outside Yemen, they are now dying in airports, either in Cairo or in Jordan. And I think that Yemenis have to take things to their hand, Yemenis, and I believe that they must stop negotiation with the Saudis. They should cut all lines and contact with the UN convoy, Wild Sheikh, and they should either come back to Yemen or stay in Muscat, and as well they should increase their attack against Saudi. And I think we have reached now the point that we do not trust the international community, we do not trust the Saudi, and we just must go to the Saudi land. As they kill us, we must kill the soldiers who are conducting those strikes.
Thank you very much. Activist and political commentator Hossein Al-Bukhaiti joining us from the Yemeni capital.